Drake is one of those rappers who's etched into the psyche of hip-hop culture, and even musical culture if we want to go further. He's been here for the past 10 years and we've seen his evolution. He's gone from a hearty, innocent, even simpish like guy to one of the dons and overlords of hip-hop. Drake has had one of the most fascinating careers in hip-hop history when you look at it, and to be honest, there's a lot we can learn from his rise up. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of his albums and how Drake has changed and the challenges he has faced with each album or the things he dealt with around the era of that album. In the early days of Drake, we have Room for Improvement, Comeback Season, and So Far Gone. In this era, we see Drake for the first time, hungry, out of the grassy, and doing his best to prove himself on these mixtapes, which is common for most of these rappers. And we see Drake at his most lyrical. Here's where Drake spits the most clever bars and is really showing out. This is where we see Drake at his most innocent and naive, and him starting out in the game starry-eyed. We don't see the gloomier version of Drake that is more cynical till way later on in his albums, and a career which is normal for someone who's progressing in an industry like the music industry, which is known for taking away one's innocence and frivolity. Also, this is where we see Drake come out with his first major hit, Best I Ever Had. These attitudes and innocence will also be a prerequisite and reason for the way they'll be clowned and treated down the line by most of the industry and fans. You know, all the Drake, the type of nigga jokes and all the other shit to follow that would paint him as a soft, light-skinned nigga, which wouldn't be totally completely shaken off until most recently. Thank Me Later, Drake's first project and his major debut. This album still has much of the energy and innocence we see in Drake's mixtape days, but he's a bit more aggressive and forward, as this is his first statement. We get hit songs like Fireworks with Alicia Keys, Fancy with Swiss Beats, and Best I Ever Had once again. We also get classic Drake tracks like 9 AM in Dallas. Care. Oh yeah, the album that had more than half of it written by The Weeknd. This album is where we get titular Drake. The man himself comes to full fruition on this record. One of the best albums of the 2010s if you ask me. This is where Drake gets really emotional and makes some of the most banger simp music ever. In this record, Drake really got into his feelings. We get some inklings of it in his previous project, but here we see that potential fully realized. A classic, no doubt. We have some unforgettable hits like HYFR or Hell Yeah Fucking Right, Headlines, Take Care, Make Me Proud, and who could forget the annoying viz and slang spark from The Motto and the infamous Marvin's Room. We also get underrated classic Drake tracks like Camera/Good Ones Interlude and the Fire Interlude by young and up-and-coming Hungry Kendrick, which is Buried Alive. Nothing Was the Same. It dropped in my melancholy college years, another unforgettable project of the mid-2010s. Drake has fully found his sound for this era and continues it. Lots of bangers, strip club songs, and emotional songs with this album. All the sad and melancholy memories come back in full force whenever I listen to this album, and it fully transports me to a whole other time. This is one of the few albums in my life that can actually do this. We have hits like Started From the Bottom, Worst Behavior, Hold On We're Going Home, and the infamous Pound Cake/Paris Motion Music 2, and of course, All Me. Then of course, we got If You're Reading It's Too Late. This is the project where Drake said, I had enough. No more light-skinned jokes and Pillsbury Doughboy jokes. I'm hard. This is the era where Drake really turned things around and became a manly man and showed anything is possible by hanging up his simping days, if you forget J-Lo of course. Drake comes in with confidence and aggression we'd never seen before. Unlike Worst Behavior, this was believable and serious. It's like when you have a kid being bullied for so long and he stands up for himself, but it's rarely ever taken seriously. But that one time he stands up for himself, he actually beats the shit out the bully and goes crazy, and everyone leaves him alone for fear of a maniacal retaliation. This was Drake doing this era. Views. We then got Views, the next project in the new era of manly man Drake. In this project, we saw Drake experiment with dancehall and a lot of UK sounds. He really fucked with the culture and got people more into UK grime music, which was something that was not really seen before. UK grime has always put out some interesting and great music, but Drake really helped bridge the connection between the two nations, which should have been done years ago if you ask me. On this album, we didn't get a project as solid as If You're Reading This It's Too Late, but we did get some great songs and ideas such as 9, You With Me, Hype, Still Here, Controller, One Dance, Pop Style, Too Good, and the most famous, Hotline Bling. And finally, we got Scorpion. Scorpion is Drake's most underwhelming project and a money grab to say the least. At least that's what it comes off as for me. Though it's not his best project, it still has some good songs, and I treat it like a victory lap bonus by Drake. We got some good songs on here like God's Plan, Mob Ties, Nice for What, In My Feelings, Can't Take a Joke, and Final Fantasy. Overall, this is Drake's long legacy. When you look back, you really see why Drake is one of the 2010s greatest artists. With Certified Lover Boy coming out, it'll be interesting to see where Drake takes this new decade and if he can dominate it the way he did in the final few years of the 2010s. Drake had started out from humble beginnings and really worked hard as an underdog and an unlikely rapper, only to overcome his stigmas and challenges to become one of the greatest rappers and artists of this generation. Let's see where it'll lead to next.
Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content and analyses just like this. Be safe, loving, and prosperous. Peace.